On today's collectible spot, we are having a look at the Hot Toys Iron Man 2 Tony Stark with Arc Reactor Creation Accessories set. This is MMS 273. This one-scale collectible set features not only Tony Stark, but some accessories that are new that we haven't gotten before. Before, of course, we have a look at the 6-scale figure. Let's have a look at the box that the figure comes packaged in. A very vibrant, bright blue box. Funny enough, the side of the box features the Arc Reactor of Tony Stark. The other half, the other side, features the shield of Captain America. Somewhat ironic, too, with the upcoming release, or soon-to-be release down the road, of Civil War. That's certainly something I'm looking forward to. But I gotta say, really liking the look of this box. As for the back, we have Tony Stark with Arc Reactor Creation Accessories set. Warning: choking hazard. Small parts not for children under 3 years of age. This is an adult collectible. It's not a toy, and it's recommended for ages 15 and up. Removing the top lid reveals underneath a flap with Tony Stark, once again the Arc Reactor, cast and crew responsible. And then from there you can peel the flap off, revealing Tony Stark, his accessories, and a very large shield, what will be the prototype shield for Captain America. Spot's going to take a break and get this guy open out of packaging, but when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Hot Toys Iron Man 2 Tony Stark with Arc Reactor Creation Accessories set. There's a lot more coming your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Of course, the first thing that we'll have a look at before we have a look at Tony Stark is the standard display stand that comes included with the figure. The top of the display stand features Iron Man 2, and the front placard features Tony Stark. Yes, again, this is going to be a Tony Stark depicted from Iron Man 2, so a lot of what you're going to be seeing accessory-wise are more relative to Iron Man 2 and not so much the sequels or Avengers. But display stand is a standard display stand, same adjustable neck that you would see with other stands, and comes included with Tony. So again, better look at the figure. I've got to say, I'm really happy with how he turned out. Now, some people may feel that Hot Toys have released a lot of Tony Stark figures. In fact, I guess this is probably, what, the 4th or 5th release. But I like it because Spot already had the Tony the Mechanic Tony. I love that figure. I found that the only downside to it is because he had blood on his face, he's a scene-specific Tony. If I want to get like a Tony just in his lab working on, his inventions, I want to get something a little more like this, something more civilian version of Tony Stark, and this fits the bill perfectly. Tony's head sculpt features an authentic likeness to Robert Downey Jr. from Iron Man 2. It's a newly developed head sculpt with movie-accurate facial features. Now, some would say that probably the more superior figure could be Tony the Mechanic, but I don't know. I really like the look of this face on this Tony. It is also hand-painted as well, so really all the little details in his face, with the creases and crevices in his eyes, really are brought out by this paint. The hair is also probably one of the best I've seen for a Robert Downey Jr. likeness as well. They really nailed the hair, I think, in this instance. His hair is also a little fuller than what we will see with the Avengers Tonys and stuff like that later on. He seemed to go with a more shorter look for hair, but in Tony Stark in Iron Man 2, he seemed to go with a more longer, fuller hair, and it's represented pretty well in this figure. As for his outfit, I have to say it's probably one of the more subtle looks for an outfit for Tony Stark. He's basically just wearing all black. He has a black short sleeve polo style shirt, black slacks, and black boots. The treads very nicely detailed there as well. Yeah, it's just a very simplified civilian outfit, Tony. And really for my setup, I've really been looking for a Tony Stark that I could just put on display and didn't necessarily have any bells and whistles to it. Just a nice, simple civilian dress Tony. And again, this, I think, really fits the bill for that. Tony also features a removable t-shirt because underneath he actually has a smaller tank top underneath. To accomplish that, the easiest thing to do is just swivel the arms forward just to get him kind of over his head. And then once you have him over his head, you can slide this shirt completely off. Once you get that polo shirt off, Tony Stark is sporting a tank top underneath, the same black color as the shirt that he was wearing over top. Now as well, if you flip around the back of the figure here and lift up his shirt, first of all, you are treated to the sculpt on the underside of the shirt, but there's also a battery compartment, which we want to pull this tab out. This just obstructs the power flow from the battery. And when you switch on this button right here, Tony Stark's front arc reactor will light up in his chest. And it really shines brightly, especially through the mesh of the tank top, and it's a great look for the piece. To go one further though, if you take the tank top off, underneath you're treated to a pretty good sculpt of Tony Stark's chest area, but you can also see that arc reactor very brightly lit and the poisoning veins coming out from the arc reactor into his chest. Showing you guys a closer look at that chest, it's a really nice paint that they put in there. I can't believe again how bright that arc reactor is, but I love the treatment that they did with the poisoning through his system being emitted from the arc reactor into his flesh. It's a really nice color. And also too, just like the rest of his body as well. Like they've almost kind of, I don't want to say sponged, but hopefully you know what I mean. Like they've put a very subtle paint color scheme in the skin here. It's not quite a solid color, but it's when you start seeing like the areas of the arms and like the chest area here, it's almost got a speckled kind of skin. It really gives it that realistic look to the piece. Again, if you want to turn it off, the little switches on the back here, you just switch it off like that, and the arc reactor will turn off. One of the other ways that you can decorate Tony Stark as well is the inclusion of these ruby red welding goggles. And they're really nice looking little pieces. We've got the front lenses in ruby, but also it carries over to the side as well. And to get those onto Tony Stark's face, all you have to do is just take that, and these goggles just clip, essentially just kind of clip over top of his ears. Just essentially the same way as what you would be attaching regular glasses. And it's a great look for Tony. Probably something more suited as well for if you're having them displayed, at his workshop, rather than something that he's going to be wearing out. These are not really so much sunglasses, but it's a great look for the piece when you have them displayed with his other accessories. Speaking of Tony Stark's other accessories, he comes with a 1/6 scale replica of his Arc Reactor. It's a really nice looking piece, mostly kind of in a gunmetal gray, but then he's got that blue from the Arc Reactor inside the shell of the Arc Reactor core. It's a really, really nice looking piece. Tony also comes with an Arc Reactor core holder as well, which is a little bit lighter in color. In fact, we reach off and we grab the Arc Reactor again. It's a little bit lighter in color, but has all these really great wires, little knobs and buttons and cogs on the sides there. It's a really, really nice looking piece. Lastly, and by far the largest, is Tony also comes with a Captain America shield prototype. The same shield prototype we also saw in Iron Man 2, and replicated very well in a 6 scale interpretation. The shield also is removable. There's a little tab just on the back here that pulls the shield out from the holder. Not that you would necessarily want to display the shield. You wouldn't necessarily want to be displaying it with like the likes of a Captain America, but it's really neat. The silver and black treatment, and then we've got the red and blue with the star here. The back, you see some of the mesh work and stuff like that to the shield. It's a really neat looking piece. The downside really to all the pieces included with Tony here is that they don't really have a table to display them with. Which is why if you were able to pick up the Iron Man 3 Workshop Accessories set, you can certainly use the table that was included with that set, and you can take the Arc Reactor core, take the Arc Reactor, and you can take the Captain America shield replica and you can display them on the table like that. Some other accessories that come included as well are two blueprint specs, one being a more completed, finished version of the Captain America shield, and then I guess one being the earlier prototype breakdowns of the shield as well. And you can take those and they can just lie on the table as well. The beauty of it too, with how much Hot Toys has released for Iron Man related, really so much more Tony Stark related pieces, there's enough accessories that you can really fill out a table like this, not only with the pieces that came with this set, but again, those other pieces as well. Of course, no 6-scale Hot Toys piece would be complete without a pair of extra hands. Tony has a pair of more tool-holding hands than the hands that are included with the figure. This allows Tony to hold not necessarily the things that come included with this set, but it gives him the options to hold tools that have been released with other Tony Starks as well. To change Tony's hands are very easy. You're just going to grab the forearm like this, grab the hand that you want to pull off, and I find just wiggling and popping it off is probably the easiest way to go about it. Take the hand that you want to use to change to, and once again, just wiggle it and pop it back into place. His hands are really perfectly suited for holding tools, and though while this Tony didn't necessarily come with the tools, he can easily hold any one of the tools that came with other Tony Stark or Iron Man pieces. And if you need at any given time extra pegs, the folks over at Hot Toys include a pair of extras just in case. Tony Stark utilizes a true type body and features over 30 points of articulation. We run through the articulation now. He has a ball joint in the head, but the ball joint sits in the top socket of the neck and the top socket of the head. So between the two, you're actually getting a double ball joint movement. He also has ball sockets in the shoulders, which allow movement forward and back, and also out. He has ball hinge sockets in the elbows, so they do rotate up and down, and also rotate back and forth. And he does also have a swivel and hinge in the hand. When it comes to his waist, he does have an upper torso crunch that we looked at when we had the shirt off of Tony here. Just move the arm here. He does also have a swivel in the waist. And as for the legs go forward, back, out, a nice swivel in the thigh, double bend at the knee, and finally that hinge and ball joint in the foot. The Tony Stark with Arc Reactor Creation Accessories is the answer to the collectors out there that are maybe now starting to collect Hot Toys pieces. Sure, of course, they can always go back and try to get older Tonys, but really between the costs and the fact that the sculpts have improved so much, this is really an answer to the people that are wanting a civilian dressed Tony. He comes with all the accessories that you would need. Granted, he doesn't unfortunately come with the table, but he does come with the accessories that you need to get really a nice little Iron Man diorama set up. Tony Stark is slated for a February to March 2015 release, and he can currently be pre-ordered over at SideshowCollectibles.com. Today's collectible spot, we're looking at the Hot Toys Iron Man 2 Tony Stark with Arc Reactor Creation Accessories. Thanks for watching as you always do, guys. Certainly stay tuned as well. Spot's going to have more collectible spots and Hot Toys and Sideshow Collectible videos heading your way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.